Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be taking a look at RPG Maker for the first time. And while I do that, I'm going to look for opportunities to add features from my favorite RPG of last year, Baldur's Gate 3. Now, there are many things that Baldur's Gate did well, including weighty decisions, flexible problem solving, thematic resonance in the subplots, moral ambiguity, and many others. But I'll be focusing on some of the more concrete features from the Dungeons & Dragons universe, like ability checks and reputation. And one quick note about the RPG Maker suite of products. There seem to be a lot of different options out there, including RPG Maker MV, MZ, RPG Maker VX, RPG Maker Unite, VX RPG Maker 95, RPG Maker 2003. And I selected RPG Maker MZ. So let's take a look at it. I downloaded the 20-day trial, and I have 20 days left on that. It's prompting me to input my email address and product key, which I'm not going to do at this time. So I will press continue. So let's create a new project. And my first RPG Maker project. Okay. It looks like it's copying some initial content here. I'm seeing some audio files being copied, textures, some PNGs. So it looks like we'll have some starter content in there. And we do indeed. We have a tile map, what looks to be a main character, and then a tile palette over here on the left. Okay, let's go ahead and maximize this and see if there is a way to run what we have already in our project. So I'll go to Game. So there's a playtest menu item, which might be the equivalent of running this in a debug context. Let me just check around here. Tools, Database, Draw. Okay, Save Project. Okay. So let's go ahead and playtest. It builds pretty quickly. Looks like there's a title screen here by default with the name that I had input and some menu options, which I can browse with the mouse. And I don't have a controller connected at this time, but I can also browse through with the arrow keys. Not WASDA though. So the continue button is grayed out because I haven't started a new game, so I'll do that now. And looks like I already have a party of characters. So I have a party of 4, and I can move around with the arrow keys. I can also click with the mouse to navigate there. And it will be interesting to see what kind of pathfinding they have once the tile map is more populated. I also have this hamburger menu up here, and some character portraits, item, skill, equip, status, formation, options, save, and game end. I can also see that my characters have hit points, magic points, and whatever TP is. They also have a class here and a level. There's a save option. Okay, so looks like I saved in, or I can save in file 1 here. Spent 3 minutes. Item, weapon, armor, and key item. Okay, so we'll have to see if they mean key like important, key to the game, or literally a key to open a lock. Oh, and then I have G, probably gold. Okay, so it looks like I can move around my map, but there's not a lot to see, and I'm sort of locked at the edge of the screen here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and quit out of here, and then take another look at this project window. Switches to the map editing mode, okay, which I'm in, and then it looks like another mode is the event editing mode. I also have some icons for, I'm assuming, yeah, different tile map layers. So what did that say? It said writes to layer 1 only, writes to layer 2 only, or writes to all layers. Okay, so it looks like we have 4 layers by default. I'm wondering when you'd want to write to all layers. Okay, well, let's start at the bottom layer, layer 1, and change some of the grass content. Oh, okay. All right, so this tile that I put down looks like it has transparency and might not be a good fit on layer 0 or layer 1. So I'm going to undo that. And then I'm going to go to layer 2. Looks like it will, handle the corners appropriately. So, there's an algorithm under the hood to ensure that the tiles are curving when necessary. All right, if I get out of this layer, then yeah, I can see that on top there. Let's write some other stuff here. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So if I do write on the same layer with or draw on the same layer with a different tile, then it will handle that, those two tiles together nicely. I'm going to take a step back from some of the map editing details and look at the other features here. So over here in the map tree, let's see what I can do here. I've got this map, but I can create a new map, or I can generate a dungeon. So I'm interested to see how RPG Maker treats different types of maps. In a lot of RPGs, you'll have an overworld, you'll have a town map, and a dungeon map. So I don't know how many of those are treated separately here. Let's go ahead and create a new map. And map 2, tile set, overworld, outside, inside, dungeon, and then SF, outside and inside. Not sure what SF means. Name and display name. Okay, so presumably this is like an identifier that's unique that you can reference maybe in code or elsewhere in this app. Display name, we'll say town. Town 1. So overworld and outside. Town, I guess, would be outside. Scroll type. Do you want to loop around? Loop vertically, both autoplay. Okay, some sound stuff. Disable dashing, parallax. That'll be cool to try some parallax. And then encounters with troop, weight, and range. So, looks like this is going to be battles. Well, first off, I'm just going to create this map. And I notice right now it's a child of map 1. So I'm curious of, the rationale for that versus having it at the top level here. I guess you could structure it with an overworld and then towns within that. We'll have to see. So it looks like my town map is blank by default. Let's put some basic ground tiles in here on layer 1. It's going to be a dusty town. Okay, so if I select 2, then I can. No, I can't paint that on. I thought. Oh yeah, I can. So I can paint on like a wall. And then it does look like it puts in the shadow for me. So I think as of right now, there's no way for me to get to that second map. So that might be one of the first things I try here. There should be some way on this map 1 to go to map 2. Let's try an event. Okay, so actually let me try to put my town somewhere here. Okay, I have some town tiles. Now let's go to the event view. Click on that tile and event 001, note, go to town 1, conditions. Options, walking, stepping, direction fix through. Action button, player touch, event touch, Trigger. Okay, well, let's trigger it with a player touch. Priority below characters, same or above. Autonomous movement fixed, random, new event page, contents. Okay. So this looks like what's going to trigger the event, and then here's the action that happens when it is triggered, I'm assuming. And let's see if they have some kind of like map change. Screen, character, picture, audio, transfer, scroll map, transfer player. That could be it. Scene control map, change tile set, advanced. Change map, get location info. I don't want to do a message. I think I might want to transfer player. Let's try that. Direct designation. Okay. And so it says map 1 specifies the location directly versus, oh, okay, versus a variable that I might set. Let's apply that. I don't know why it's red. And let's start. Okay. Oops. Well, it did fade. So it looks like it was transferring me. Did I not specify the target location? Transfer player. Oh, I did not do that correctly. Oops. I kept it at map 1. So it still says map 1. Oh, okay. I have to like click on a location here, and now it's map 2. So I probably want to create like a town entrance, and then that's how I'll get my character from the overworld into the town. Oh, and it looks like I can have multiple actions here. So I'm going to remove this one that I erroneously edited. Okay, town 1. So now that I've done a town, I want to do a dungeon. Let's look for a dungeon sprite. Okay, there's some like more futuristic stuff here. So if you didn't want to do a fantasy RPG, they give you some starter content. Or, you know, it could be a fantasy RPG set in a modern setting. Whatever you want to do. I'll just do that little thing. Temple. Now I want to put another event on that dungeon here. So I'll go to events, click on that tile, double click for event 2, transfer player, and we'll go to, oh, well, I haven't made my secondary map here. Yes, discard changes. Make another map. I'm curious to try it up here. I don't know if it's going to matter or not, or if you could reorder them. So map 3 is going to be a dungeon. I'm going to make this one a little bigger. So I want to try to figure out, you know, how the camera moves through it. So let's make this 100 by 100. And, okay, you can control mouse wheel to zoom out. That's helpful. Now let's flood fill some dungeon tiles. Let's try this one. Zoom in here. Okay. Oops, I put that on layer 2. Let's go to layer 1. Now in layer 2, we'll do some we'll do some walls. So if I go back to my overworld and edit that event again, then I should be able to transfer my player to map 3 And I'll just pick a spot here. Oh, and I can customize the fade. Direction, retain. So, you know, if you came in facing to the right, then it looked, you know, when they transferred you over, you'd still be facing the same direction, I'm presuming. Okay, and oop, I didn't add it. Transfer to map 3. Okay. Okay, and apply. Oop, did I not specify that? So the trigger is the action button. Okay. Condition to start the event. Action button starts when the player presses the action button. Player touch, in addition to the above, starts when the player touches the event. In addition to the above, starts when the event touches the player. Okay. So player touch versus event touch. So I guess this would be like if you had maybe a moving object that could intersect with your player. And then I'm still curious about this one. So stepping uses the walk animation when the character is not moving. Uses the walking animation. Uses the walking animation while the character is moving. Huh. Wonder what that specifically has to do with the event. But okay, we have 2 events, and let's try to trigger both of them. All right, I'll try this dungeon. Oops, did something wrong there. I want to try this big tree here. Nope, still not Z ordered. Okay. Oh yeah, I just realized I don't have any way to get out of the town. That's an interesting mechanic. A town that you can enter, but you can't leave unless you do something. So let me go ahead and fix that. Inside my town, I probably want a whole trigger and any of these outer tiles. So like if I were to select, can I multi-select? That's really weird. I can multi-select in the map view, but not in the event view. Quick event creation, set starting position, new. Okay, and they're indexed, so events are indexed based on the map that you're in. I don't know if you'd ever have to reference an event in a different map. Be interesting to see how to do that. Okay. I really hope that you don't have to specify an event per tile. I'm going to do some quick reading on that. Okay, well, I didn't get a super easy answer from my cursory research here, so I'm just going to try a really basic way of constraining the player so they can only exit the town at one location. So we'll paint this up here, paint that up here, and that looks weird. There we go. Now I need to remember where I had put my entrance here. So I'm going to double click on that tile. I will do this tile as the entry point. And then I need to... which one was which? I don't know. I need to remove that one, and I guess I'll re-add it. I keep forgetting that it keeps your previous actions. Okay, so that point, that's my only transfer player thing. Like if I had two transfer player actions, I wonder if it would like warp you to one and then immediately to the other. Okay. Now what I want to do is go into that town map, and I want to set up an event here for exiting. Okay. Now, can I copy paste that event? I can copy it. Looks like I can paste it. It makes a duplicate. So, yep. So that, I don't know if this is the right way to do it. That would be really strange if you needed to like change where you were going to exit the town. Like if you wanted to go to the left or the right, would you have to go in here and then change each one of those events? Seems a little cumbersome, but maybe I'm missing a different way to do this. Anyway, let's play it and see what happens. Also, I wonder if it's just starting on the first map in this list when you start the game. Wait, what just happened to my... Wow, what did I do to my town? That looks weird. Did I screw up the sprite? Let's fix that. Okay. Okay, so the town navigation thing seems to work, even though it's a little bit cumbersome. And then I have to fix that dungeon event. Okay, so, oh, I had selected action button. I want to do player touch. Also, what if I move these around? Can I even? Looks like I'm... Oh, I can reparent them. That was a mistake. But I don't know if I can reorder them within this list or if it matters. Okay, let's try this again. All right, now I'm in the dungeon and I can't move. I wonder if the tile I selected was not like a floor tile. Because it seems like tiles have some special properties that might be hidden from me. So here, if I go to map 3 and I go to this bottom thing here, I wonder if this is just like not a floor tile. Can I flood fill empty? I can. Let's do that. I still can't move. What did I do? All right, I'm gonna pick something that looks like maybe a floor tile. Wait. Is this on the right layer? Yeah. Let's try this. Okay, so when I selected that floor tile, I can now indeed walk. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder where these properties are hidden. Like, what makes this a floor tile? Because presumably you'll want to import your own tiles and then specify some of those as floor tiles or tiles that you would collide with. Huh. Okay, I just remembered there was a generate dungeon option on these maps, so I'm going to try that out. And rooms versus maze. Let's try rooms first. Wide passages. Okay, and then you can specify what the wall should look like. Okay, so you have to select 2 tiles. And then the floor. Let's say that's our entry point. I have to remember to delete the old one. I think it was this one. And then we'll play it again. Okay, so now we have a generated dungeon. And I'm assuming wide passages just means it's more than one tile. Okay, and then presumably you can have random encounters around here. Let's try to configure that. So let's see if I can go to edit. Yeah, here it is. List of the troops for random encounters. I think it's interesting they call them troops. So I'm guessing a troop is a group of enemies. Let's find out. Goblin times 2. Weight. Huh. Okay. Value that affects the frequency at which the troop is encountered. Got it. Let's see if we can trigger one of those encounters. There we go. Goblin emerged. And fight. Oh yeah, I don't have any special moves. I do have magic though. Okay, this guy was a priest, I think. I don't know about initiative, like which player goes first. So it looks like my TP went up when I attacked. Let's see if that's true. Yeah. Alright, I got some experience and some gold. So if I go to my status screen here, got 10 gold. Wonder where the experience bar is. Current XP and to next level. So there are a couple more things I want to add to this dungeon, like a boss and some loot. But for now, I'm going to turn off those random encounters just for testing. So let's get rid of this troop here. And there are a couple ways that I could think of to trigger encounters without them being random. The first is an ambush where you walk into a room and there are some enemies waiting for you, and just by stepping within an area or region, as they might call it here, you would trigger that attack. The other way I can think of off the top of my head is as the result of some dialogue choices that you make. So if you're talking to an NPC, things go south and your reputation is low with them, they may just attack you. But before I do that, I'm going to see if I can place a sort of boss in this area think there's a natural boss room up top here. Yeah, that seems right. I'm not noticing a lot of character sprites here, so NPCs may be treated a little differently. It looks like to create an NPC, we first create an event. And so I'll do that by double-clicking on this tile here. And then I can select an image of what I would like this NPC to look like. So double-clicking there, I can choose from some actors. So now if I just apply this and hit OK, I've got this image here in my map, but it doesn't do anything yet. I can set up how I'd like to trigger that event, player touch, action button, etc. So I'm going to make this a boss that you can actually talk to before getting into a battle. And so that will be the action button. Now, once the event is triggered, then I have these actions that will take place. And so if I double click there, I can show some text that the boss might greet us with. So let's go ahead and write some. Greetings. I trust you are here to kill me. Care to chat first? Oh, and when I was looking up some information about this, it looks like this is the boundary of where the text will get cut off. And now we can put a face next to this NPC. Monster. There we go. This looks like it's associated. Okay. Got to come up with a name. Is that the name of the NPC? Demonica. That's a little generic, but whatever. Batch entry. Enables the input of more than 4 lines and inserts multiple event commands. I'm not going to do that. I can preview it. Oop, looks like my text did get cut off here. So let's test that. I probably should have put her closer to the start. Oh well. Oh, interestingly, the sprite changed when I did that. So check into that. Huh. So since it took a while to walk through this dungeon, I'm going to put a little secret teleporter or something here. Okay, I'll place another event. Let's pick a... Okay, this looks pretty good, like some kind of magical circle. And when the player touches it, we will transfer them to the boss. And maybe I want to have a return portal there. But for now, we'll just have this one-way portal. Okay, so I switched the sprite to something that looked a little better, and I think that fixed whatever the sprite problem was there. Now let's try to trigger an attack based on some dialogue choices. So here, I think I can nest dialogue. And I believe the way that I do that is with the show choices option here. So let's see, what did she ask them? Care to chat first? So we'll make the options yes or attack. Oops. How about that? So it says cancel is choice 2. But maybe I don't want them to cancel. So I'll say disallow, I believe. Okay. I wonder how this is going to play out with these two as siblings. Okay, so it does bring up the choice after she greets you. And as of right now, both of those options don't do anything. So for the attack case, I'm going to want to trigger an encounter, I believe. So let's double click here. Okay, so there is a battle section, but there's also battle processing. Direct designation. Designation with a variable. Can't lose. Enemy appear. Ooh. Question mark. Let's see what happens when I do that. Okay, that didn't seem to do anything. I might want to set up a new type of troop, but for now I'm going to select just one of the pre-made ones. I'll say tree ant, and can't escape, can escape, and can lose. Can lose. The game will not end even if all party members are defeated, and creates a branch that defines how to process if lose. That's worded a little strangely, so I'm going to do the defaults here and see what happens. Okay, and now the battle was triggered. Okay, and then presumably I could trigger another action if that battle succeeded or failed. Next up, I want to create an NPC in the town that sends you on a quest to go to that dungeon. So I'm going to start another event. We'll select this fancy hat. And now I'm also going to put in a bit of text. I wonder why my text keeps getting cut off, because I feel like I've been keeping it within the boundaries. Yeah, so let's see what happens if the text is too large for the window, if it will just keep scrolling. Now I'll do choice. So yes or no, we'll accept the quest. How about yes, no, maybe? I'll think about it. So cancel will be choice 3. So maybe with dialogue options like these, we could trigger some reduction in reputation if you were to select no. I'm going to circle back to reputation a little bit later. But for now, I'll just have the merchant reply in each of these cases. Okay, when yes. Okay. Show text. Great Great. I'll be waiting for your return. Let's see if he has like a happy face. No, I think they each have one face. But my guess is that if you wanted to create art where they had different expressions, you could make a happy, sad, neutral face and then associate those with specific text. And I'll just leave this last one with no text. Oh, so yeah, the text that was too long for that dialog box just gets cut off. Huh. Let me fix that. So I think I just need to add another text box explicitly here. So I'll say new, show text. Actually, I probably want to copy that last sentence from this one and put it in here. And I want to reorder these, so see if I can just drag and drop. I can. Okay, so because I didn't select an image, it didn't include an image. I was wondering if it would just use the one from the previous text box, but it doesn't do that. So let's say, I'll say yes. Great, he turned into the king. Aww. Now I want this NPC to remember that he has given you a quest, so I think I'll do that here in the yes block. So after I show the text, which, now that I'm looking at it, doesn't seem to match this guy's portrait. Let's adjust that. Oops, sorry. Edit. And then on this line, I will try to set a flag or a variable or something that says that he's given you a quest. So in this game progression area, it looks like I can control variables, changes the numeric value stored in a variable. And it looks like they just have an index associated with them. I don't know if you can name them. Oh, here's the name. Quest given. Apply. Okay. And we want to set it. And we want to set it to a value other than 0. Now, are these all integers? Let's see. Variable, operation, operand. Okay. Integers or floating point, something like that. So I'm going to set it to 1 instead of 0. And now I'll click OK. Not sure why it's red. Maybe that's just how they highlight control variables. Just looking at red text makes me think there's an error, though, so we'll see. Now, before I test it, I want to add a new conditional statement that interrogates that variable, and then the merchant won't ask you again about the quest if he's already given it to you. So let's see if I can do that with another control switch. Nope. Control timer. Flow control. Yeah, conditional branch. Switch on. Okay, switch number 1 is on variable. Okay, I see. So if the variable quest given is equal to, well, if it's equal to 1, I want to give a different bit of text, and I can create an else branch here. So for folks who aren't familiar with other types of programming languages, maybe you've only used RPG Maker with its UI. This is very analogous to if then else in just about every other programming language. And so I'm going to click OK. Now I can create an else branch to continue executing the rest of this dialogue, but I wonder if there's a exit the whole thing option. So if we've already been given the quest, I would like this merchant to ask if the task has been completed. So I'll show some choices. And first I want to show text. Have you dispatched, or how do I want to phrase that? Have you eliminated So the other thing I want to do is move this up, because I would like to check that variable before I ask anything else. So there we go. Looks like I can just drag it up. And this will be interesting. I wonder if... Okay, I wonder if there is... I wonder if there's a way to exit this whole event. So flow control, break the loop, exit event processing. Could try that. The other way to do this is to put an else statement and then put all the remaining text in that else statement. And what I'm noticing about this event system here is that it's a tree structure, so that there are nested elements that have parents, and they can have children and ancestors and descendants. But I could imagine that you might want more of a graph-based dialogue system where you could loop back to a totally different part of the graph if certain conditions are true. So maybe you can approximate that with some flow control here. We'll just have to see. Okay, let's test it out. Okay, so when I first talked to this merchant, he's just saying hello and welcome, because I haven't changed that variable yet. If you rid us of this menace, I'll make it worth your while. I'll say yes. Excellent. I'll be waiting for your return. Now, when I talk to him again, it will ask me if I have eliminated the threat. It doesn't really matter what I say at this point because I didn't put the logic in. But it looks like we can track whether a quest has been given or not. I am interested to know if this will save. So I'm going to make a new save. Okay, now I'm going to end the game. Continue from file 2. And... okay, so that variable was saved in the save file. Okay, now I want to make some changes to the dungeon boss. I want to modify the enemy that you see once you get into a battle. And I poked around and found this tools database option. And within there, you can specify the troops that you'd like to fight. So I'm going to try to create a new troop for this boss. First, I'll change the maximum number of entries here to 6. And then I have a new troop. I can change its name. I'll change it to the name of the boss. And let's see if I can change the background. Change BG. Let's see. We are in some sort of dungeon. Nope. Demon Castle, Demonic World. Oh, I see. There's like a, the ground and the background are slightly different. Okay. I'm going to go with this Stone 2 image. And then for the ground, how do I change that? Oh, the ground must be over here. Okay, also Stone 2. And let's see. I want to be able to put a new enemy in here, so I'm going to have to figure out enemies, which looks like it's right here. Change the maximum there. And okay, for the image, I'm assuming this is the image that you will see on the battle screen. Looks like it. Wonder if we have something that's analogous to that NPC we used. Okay, it looks like I found her. She's under the Goddess of Death. Well, you can change the hue. So we'll click OK. I'm going to turn down the HP so we can test the battle a little bit better. Down. So now, once I have configured that troop, I can go into the battle processing command here and edit it. And select the troop that we just defined. And now let's test it. Somehow we won without doing anything. That is interesting. Okay, I found what I did wrong. I created the troop and I created the enemy that goes inside of that troop, but I didn't actually put the enemy into the troop. So let's do that now. And here we go. Demonica. Add her, apply. And now we'll try once more. Okay, now it looks like we can fight. Now I want to set a flag or a variable that will indicate that we've defeated this boss, and then we can check it from other contexts. So here in the troop definition, they have this battle event area, and you can set up the span, so how often they're going to check, I believe. So during the battle, you can check certain conditions, and I had to look this up, but you can check to see if the enemy HP drops below, or drops to 0% or below, and then that will indicate that we've defeated this enemy. Then I'll click OK. And now in here, these are the actions that will be performed if this condition is met. So I'll double click on that, and I can control a switch or a variable. So I think a switch is just a Boolean value, and a variable is a numeric value. Okay, so I will name this switch. We'll just say defeated boss. And I can select whether or not I want to turn it on or off. Okay, so defeated boss is set to on when the HP drops below or reaches 0. Okay, now I want that switch to affect the dialogue of the quest giver. So I'm going to double click here and see if I can look at that switch. So we'll go to conditional branch, and if the defeated boss is on, I will create an if-then else statement. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this up a little bit into here. So before I show the choices for yes or no for eliminating the threat, I'm going to have the option of deceiving this NPC and lying and saying that, yeah, we did defeat the boss even though we didn't. So I'll move these choices into the first conditional block, and then I'll create some new ones in the else block. Let's see if I can copy paste. Copy paste. Yeah, I can. So if we haven't defeated the boss, then I'm going to change this option to something that references deception, like in Baldur's Gate. Okay, so I'll edit. And I'll say... Okay, so in this case, what I want to do is simulate the roll of that d20 dice that happens in Baldur's Gate. So I'm not going to compare that roll result to any sort of stats on this character. I'm just going to make a random number check and then see if it's above a certain threshold. So let's go ahead and do that in this block here. Okay, I'm going to select control variables. I'm going to make a new variable. I'm going to call this deception. Now, the operand will be a random number between, let's say, 1 and 20. We'll see if that's inclusive or exclusive. And, okay, we'll say okay. Now I want to show the result of that check, and I'm going to double click here. I'm going to select show text. Now I had to look this up, but there's a special syntax if you want to display a variable in one of these text boxes. So I'll say you rolled a... So there's a \v for variable, and then I have to pass in the variable index. I think that was 2. Okay, let's test it out. So I'm here with my NPC, and I'll talk to him. Have you eliminated the threat? And now my options are yes or no, but the yes is a deceptive one. So when I say yes, you rolled a 3. Now, in Dungeons and Dragons, there'd be a difficulty class, so you have to define that based on, you know, maybe the character that you're talking to and how susceptible they might be to deception. But for here, I'm going to try to do something where if it's above a 10, then you succeed, and if it's below, at or below, then you fail. So now I will put in another conditional branch, and I will say if the deception value is greater than or equal to, let's say greater than or equal to 10, then we will succeed. And now I'll put in some different text based on that. Okay, now in the else block, I not only want to display some text, but I also want to modify some sort of reputation with this NPC. So you've failed on your deception check, and now this person doesn't think as highly of you. So let's see if we can model that here. I'm going to go ahead into control variables, make a new variable. And by the way, I noticed there are like 20 slots for variables, so you can change the maximum. These all appear to be global variables, and I can certainly see a case where you may want to model this data in more of an encapsulated way, so it's not just a high-level list, but I don't know how to do that in RPG Maker yet, so we'll just use this method. So I'm going to rename this to Merchant Reputation. Now let's see if I can give this a default range. I'm going to have to look up how to give it a default. But what we're going to do in the case of this failure in deception is we're going to subtract from that reputation. So let's say it starts at 5, and then we subtract 5 to bring it down to 0. So I'll do that. Although actually, if it starts at 0, we'll see if it can go into the negative, and then maybe that will be our check. Okay, so subtract 5 from reputation. And also we want to show some text. You're a terrible liar. And is that the end of the event processing? Maybe. And then the final thing I want to do here is if the reputation with this NPC is low, he won't even talk to you. So we'll check that here. Not the switch, sorry. No, I want conditional branch with that's what I want to select. Okay. So we'll select merchant reputation, and we'll say if it is less than 0, I guess, we will just exit, or, well, we'll say something. Don't talk to me. And then we'll exit processing. Okay, now I'm going to drag this all the way to the top. So it should be the first thing that we evaluate. So let's see if we can fail this check. You rolled a 3. You're a terrible liar. Okay. We'll come back. Don't talk to me. Okay. So now when I save that game, and relaunch it, yeah, he still says don't talk to me. We've retained that variable. Okay, now I'm going to test that the dialogue changes if I defeat the boss. And we'll go back to town. Okay, so it still says deception. Let's take a look at that. So when I researched it, it looks like what I need to do here is add a new event page and have an event configured that runs at the start of the battle, which will set the enemy to be immortal. And the reason that I understand we have to do that is so that the enemy doesn't die before our death event processes. So I'm going to go and say turn 0. And here in the actions, I need to set this enemy to immortal. So let's see if we can find that. Let's try change enemy state. And remove state immortal. Okay. The entire troop, I don't know if it matters since we only have one enemy in the troop. So I'll say okay. So we apply that on turn 0, and then that should allow our death event to run. I'm seeing here a battle test button, so maybe that will help us. Let's just click it. Okay, so I had also put in some text that she would say when she died, and that's getting triggered, so presumably that Boolean flag is also being set. Oh. Now this is interesting. It looks like because the immortal flag isn't reset, or set to 0, then she's just not dying. So maybe what I need to do here is, clear that immortal flag. All right. So we'll say remove state immortal. Okay. Let's test it. No. All right. That seems to have worked. Let's try it in the context of the game. Okay. Victorious. All right. And now, because we remember that we've defeated that boss, the dialogue changes to just be yes or no. We don't have to use a deception check to try to deceive this quest giver. Okay, well, I think that's enough content for this video. The tool seems like it could be a useful option for folks who aren't interested in procedural programming but would like to work on an RPG. I'm not sure I would utilize it for anything that had sufficiently complex conditional logic, as their in-engine editor for that type of stuff seemed a little cumbersome. That said, I did see something about RPG Maker Unite, which appears to be a Unity package, so maybe you could use that if you'd like the best of both worlds and some of the power of a more generalized game engine. So, good luck with your projects, and thanks for sticking with me to the end of the video. Have a great day.